You got me out of a really stuck spot and made me look inward and realize that I was the stuck spot. My limiting beliefs in what I could do with my business was where I was stuck. Trying to do everything on my own was the reason my business was stalled out at $30,000 a month. You know what I mean? So my goals, besides growing my own business, is I want to work with you guys in the future. I want to help other gyms grow. And because you guys have shown me the way to do it and give me, I don't want to go do it on my own. I want to do it with you guys. Like I want to be part of your team someday when we get my business all figured out so that I can, to help you guys help other gyms. Same thing.
I just closed another high-ticket AI deal for my agency. Today, I'll be showing you the exact same process that I use from start to finish. My name's Mackie, and 6 years ago, I was at a job where I wasn't exactly sure what I'd be doing. And today, I currently help run an AI agency that's generated well over $60 million in revenue for our clients, and our company getting evaluated at over $5 million this year in 2025. During this call, I'm speaking directly with a gym owner who hasn't really seen a lot of growth for about 4 years. He went down from the 330 members to 230 and really couldn't seem to bounce back. What was the reason? Well, what we found is that he kept getting burned by a lot of the other agencies, even knowing better himself. The last one he worked with was charging $2,000 a month, only to deliver 32 leads that resulted in 2 phone calls. Not only was this client skeptical, frustrated, and his trust was at a zero, but the best part is that what you're actually watching happened 8 months ago. Since this gentleman said yes to us on the call, he hasn't just recovered, he's been out there crushing it. We've taken him from the 230 members he was stuck at to well over 300 active members and averaging more than $60,000 a month in revenue. He's now able to finally leave the business, take his family on a vacation, knowing that it'll still run and operate, and he's actually in the market for finding a second location. What you're about to watch isn't just a sales call. You're actually watching the moment this gentleman's business turned around for the better. Watch how I navigated the skepticism, was able to identify the gaps he's missing, and then close the deal that changed his business for the better. Grab your notes and let's dive in. All right, everybody, as we go through this sales call of mine, I'm also going to be pulling up my screen over here to show you the process with a few visuals here. Of course, we're going to go through the intro, the discovery, the transition into the pitch, temperature check, price pitch, and then eventually closing the deal. So let's go ahead and dive on in.
Urban got hit pretty hard.
Oh, did they? Yeah. That's a bummer.
Yeah, so they're a little bit underwater, but other than that, it looks like it's subsiding. But who knows? Bring it on.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I know. We're just actually kind of a late winter here too. We've had some pretty good storms over the last few weeks, but the sun is out this week and it feels so good. I've been taking my laptop outdoors and they're doing a lot of work out in the sunshine just to find that vitamin D for sure.
That vitamin D, I know, man. I'm looking forward to it. This solar panel up ahead of mine, soaks it up. But all right.
Yep. So here you all, of course, whenever you get into the call, any sales call for that matter, you got to break the ice, build up some sort of connection, rapport. In this specific situation, I believe the recording started a little bit late into the call, but looks like I probably asked them, how's the weather over there? Started talking a little bit like that. During the time of this call, I believe this is when Kentucky got hit with a bunch of the rain, so Buffalo Trace got flooded. But you want to start laughing, break the ice, lighten the mood, remove the pressure or alleviate the pressure of it being a sales call. And then we're going to dive on into setting the framework or the expectations here.
All right, man. Well, hey, I want to thank you for being flexible the other day and rescheduling. I know we got booked up there, so I appreciate you doing that.
Just lets me know that you got other people you're working with. So
yeah,
there might be something going on here.
Something's cooking over here, that's for sure. I just want to make sure too. Do you have any business partners, anybody else that you believe would be good to have on the call here?
No.
Nope. Awesome. And then I've got you for the next 30 to 45 minutes or so.
Sounds good. Yep.
All right, brother. Well, we can dive on into it.
Two very important things, y'all. If you're just getting into sales, these are 2 important questions to ask at the beginning for 2 main reasons. One, of course, you need to know if there's any other partners. That way, instead of wasting your time or the potential client's time, you guys can get everyone on there, game plan together from each perspective to see if this is the solution for whatever their problem might be. The second question I asked is to make sure that we have X amount of time together. You don't know their schedule and they don't know yours. If you've got back-to-back calls, maybe you need to know what time you have with this specific lead. That way you can better plan if you need to schedule a follow-up call, or go through the pitch, or just continue to build doubt?
You should go ahead and tell me what you believe is the biggest challenge right now at your gym.
Well, I mean, the big
One of the questions I like to start the conversations off with as well, you all, is what do you feel is the biggest challenge in your business? That's a very good open-ended question that can do one of two things. One, the client opens up and gives you all the information, or two, you're going to have to do some digging because they didn't really give you that much. In this specific case, the client does give us a whole lot. So let's go ahead and take a listen here, and I'll pause in between and make a few
I guess.
notes.
Well, I'll give a little background. So I've been doing this for a while now. So I started my own gym. I started coaching in like 2009, and then I opened my own gym in 2011. So been around the block. And back when we started, it was, we were one of like 3, maybe 4 town. We have a smaller population town, about 75,000. Like I said, it was through CrossFit.
At this point, we are diving into the discovery phase. So again, what we're trying to find out here within the discovery section is understanding their current situation, being able to label what the core problem is that they're experiencing, diagnosing that problem. And then as we start to do that, we want to create enough doubt and tension, and then clarify their goals to where we can then tie that back down in future pace, what the solution might be with us.
CrossFit gyms, the big gym, and then I do like a hybrid style, like interval training gym, using, just not CrossFit, let's just call it that, right? And so when I came onto the scene, if you didn't want to do CrossFit and you weren't getting any results, to me, so like I had this like really like instant success, like we were packed pretty solid through the first year, and then somewhere in like my second or third year, like probably, when was that? Yeah, somewhere, yeah, right on the end of my second year, going into my third year, we ran our first Facebook ad, and I signed up 75 people in a weekend. Like literally, I was down to do a Spartan race, and I almost turned it off because it was like, what am I going to do when I get back with 75 new people? And since then, we've endured all the times. We've endured COVID. We've endured a couple different location things, and we've kept the business flowing. I've had, up to at one time 330 members, coming in on a regular basis. Now I'm right around 230.
How long ago was that when you were at the 330?
But right before COVID, we were at our height, right? Okay. And then we lost about 150 members during COVID, but found a place.
So again, right here, we're trying to diagnose, when did this go wrong? So he was at the height of his business right before COVID, and then it seems like they haven't really been able to bounce.
That allowed us to, it was right in the middle of transition locations too. And so they allowed us, we worked out, it was on, so they allowed us to work out outdoors for about 9 months. And we pulled all my mats outside and all the equipment, and we worked out underneath an awning, through some fires, through winter. And then we moved back indoors, in 2021. And, we kind of fluctuated. 230 is a little low right now. We're kind of been fluctuating around 250, 260 members pretty regularly, averaging, around $30,000 to $33,000 a month. Been with a couple of different marketing, then we kind of got into the high tech, we kind of figured that, the word of mouth, it used to be just people told people that they were in their neighborhood, their neighbors, their friends, all those kinds of people. Is just, that was the referral base. You know what I mean? We'd run our own Facebook ads and it was fine. And then we started noticing a dip. And so, I talked to a friend of mine who has a boxing gym, and he was working with a company called and they ran, did your social media, ads, and they started talking to me into high ticket sales. And so we started running $599 8-week transformation programs, with.
When you get a client like this or a sales call like this is where it gets a little tricky. He's actively giving me a lot of the information that you usually have to dig for, right? So he's given me a pretty thorough rundown on what the situation was like before COVID, what it was like post-COVID, where he's at currently, what he's tried. And so one of the things I'm going to be talking about that I could have done better is, even though he's giving me all of this information, I still want to make sure that I get clear and confirm all of these points of the sales process, because it's going to help continue to build that pressure up for when you get to the pitch to really get that deal closed.
With custom nutrition and all that kind of stuff. And I saw, boom, it worked. I was landing, 15 to 20 of those pretty consistently for about 6-8 months. Our attrition kind of really sucked through that time for whatever reason.
Now he's talking to us about attrition. So this is all good information, what his monthly revenue is that he shared, that 30 to 33K a month, what numbers they were at, what their attrition is, all very good information for us to know. What is their net growth? Is it a positive net growth? Is it stagnant, or is it negative?
But it was working well until it didn't work. until it didn't work. You know what I mean? And they would, they just started seeing like I felt like they got lazy with things. Once it, what I mean? The ads didn't change, the offers didn't change, any of that kind of stuff. And so they were complacent. You know what I mean? They weren't hitting the weekly meetings with me like they were. They weren't, the whole promise of like showing you the numbers and all that kind of stuff just didn't jive. And so I decided to move. My contract was up with them. I decided to move over to another company called. And those guys promised, their whole ad thing was, are you tired of running the same ads? Are you, we've got our, patented blah, 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 that'll, we'll guarantee, 100, whatever, all the guarantee bullshit. And I signed up with them on a 90-day thing, and they ran the same fucking ads, the same fucking, offer. They didn't do anything, nothing was different. They wanted you to get on these Zoom calls every 3 times a week, for, an hour to 2 hours in the middle of your day, to listen to all these guys talk about, the gyms. And what I found in that is that it was a bunch of new gym owners. You know what I mean? Like, how do I get to $10,000? Like, okay, well, I know how to get to $10,000. I know how to get to $20,000. I know how to get your dreams. I'm trying to get you 50. Let's get 50 first, and then show me. Yeah, like I've got bigger dreams for this thing. I've got a great team. I've got a great staff. I've got an amazing location. Just all the things that I need. And so it takes us to kind of. I didn't continue. It just pissed me off with all their promises, and they're not delivering on their promises. So I bailed on them in December. I went back to kind of running my own ads. So I all my software is through. Platform now that you can link everything directly through your website, and it's a Meta, and then you can run your own ads. And then I did all this, took all the classes and stuff like that. I have a great understanding of how it all works, but I don't have the time. Well, I guess I could make the time. I don't have the passion for it. You know what I mean? Like,
That's why you got into the business.
Now I got into the business, right? So our gym, just to paint the total picture for you, our gym is inside of so there's multiple buildings on. One of the halls is 10,000 square feet. Half of it is our group exercise spot, and then half of it is like an open gym with treadmills and squat racks and all that kind of stuff. So they had a gal, marketing, and that was doing all the social media and advertising through the Great Festival. It's called the Great Growing Community, and so it's called doing all that. So they introduced me to her, and what I really liked about her originally, and still do actually, is that I can talk to her. I can text her. I can talk to her. I can get on a phone call with her. And so we're on a 3-month deal with her right now, and she's doing a kick-ass job with my social.
Okay, so again, you all this information as he's giving this to me, I am taking notes. Again, what he's talking about right now is what agency he's currently working with and what he likes about it. Likes the fact that he can get in touch with her, can communicate with her, and see what's going on.
My social media, like my social media's never looked as good. When it comes down to the ads, just to pay, like again, there's full disclosure. Last month, we're spending $15 a day on ads. And I got 32 leads, and 2 of them got on a call with me. And so originally, so right out of the gate, I'm like red flag. Right? Again, love the social media stuff, love being able to connect with her. She's into health and fitness herself.
So again, he just gave us what his numbers were for the last 30 days, 32 leads. Let's see what else he keeps saying.
I don't know that she works with many other gyms. But again, I got 2 more months with her, so I'm not going to wait for the end of the 2 months. Like if this continues, I have to have another option kind of ready. So full disclosure, I'm paying her a good chunk of money. You know what I mean? But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I'm not willing to get to the end of this stuff, keep spending money on something that doesn't work. We have to, I need results. I don't mind dropping $1,000 on ads. I don't mind all that kind of stuff as long as it pays, multiplies. You know what I mean? So again, that's where I'm at right now. We're into our 2nd month with her. We figured out something. I feel like I'm coaching her up on a couple of things when it comes to the the ads and how they run, and like we put up a big like a questionnaire. Like no longer can you just fill out and put in your information, right? Like you have to answer some qualifying questions now. That was something that I learned along the way, and it's like, are you willing to invest in your health right now? Do you have the financial capabilities to invest in your health? You know what I mean? If someone calls you, are you going to answer the phone? Like like, I don't need just leads. Like we did that. We actually did that. It would get me about 150 leads a month, but you had to make sure the quality of the lead really was terrible, right? Yeah. And so I also don't have time to show up for appointments where nobody's going to show up. I don't have time to sit there and make 50 phone calls a day, following up with all these single leads, all these just right? Like so there's a happy medium in there somewhere. So where your guys' thing really stuck out to me was, well, for one, you're guaranteed. You know what I mean? Try us for a month, no charge. I'm like, okay, anybody that's going to put out a guarantee like that, like believes in what they do. And then like I am just starting to get into using AI in my business, right? To create different things. And, so I know there's an opportunity out there to allow that to work for you. So that's why we're on the call today. Again, just, I don't want to get to the end of my 3 months with my current marketing. I have no plan. I'm curious as to what your thoughts are on all this kind of stuff. And how you address all of those issues. So that's simply it, right? So simply, I guess the long answer to this thing, right? But what we're struggling with right now is lead volume and quality of leads. coming in, right? I'm pretty dang good at closing, right? I probably close at an 80%. If I can get people to talk to me and in the gym, they're going to sign up for a membership, right? So that's where I'm at. Long answer, I know, but I want to give you the full picture.
I really appreciate it, Joel. We are very different than a lot of the other.
So again, you all, that one open-ended question right there just opened up the floodgates for him to actively give me all of the information regarding his business from the time where it was the most profitable before COVID to where it fell off after COVID and then really stayed stagnant at that 250 to 260 member mark. The other thing that he referenced quite a bit were the numerous agencies he's worked with the last one being about 2K a month and only generating those 32 leads. So all of this information he was just sharing is basically giving me the marketing, the promote. We haven't gotten into the promotions yet. The total number of leads that were generated. He said he only got 2 phone calls out of those, so there was no ROI. That might be later on in this the sales call as well. So this is the issue that I am continuing to work on myself, is that if the client gives you all that information, you still need to make sure that you're piecing it into your head what stage of the process you're in. So we should still be in the discovery, trying to refine and iron out a lot of what he just said to get more clarity on it, and then start to build the doubt. That way we can build up the pressure and then deliver the solution as to why we're the best fit for his problems. And so in this next section, again, we're still in the discovery here, you all. I'm going to be going a little bit more into resetting the frame since he had just shared all that information. And let's dive
The
back
other
in.
agencies. So I really do believe that after the end of this phone call, you might even pick up on some of the new things that I'll be mentioning to you that might be educational. And the way that we like to do things is really do a deep dive into what you've been doing, what you're currently doing, and where you ultimately want to go, because we do have several different services that might be more suited to you, or maybe all of them. So that's what we'll break down. But just so I'm on the same page, you've been flipping through a few different agencies. Let's go post-COVID. You are trying to get back to where you were pre-COVID, which was at 330 members actively. And right now with the current agencies you've been working with, you haven't been able to achieve that. It sounds like, whether they're looking good on paper with generating a high volume of leads, you're wasting a lot of your time trying to call or contact them, not getting in touch. And with this new guy that you're working with, as you mentioned, 32 leads in the month and only 2 getting on the phone, doesn't sound like you even broke even on your investment.
No.
Okay. And this has been something that's been pretty much consistent, would you say, since after COVID? Or
yeah, I mean, I guess it's just, it's the new way. I think it's the new way that gyms do business these days. Like I said, like if you're not running ads, how are you getting members? Yeah, you do other, I don't know. I think that's what, gyms do these days. You get new members. Like, right, social media is the platform to, get new members. I mean, we can run email campaigns and tap into old email lists and all that kind of stuff as well as bonus. But the main draw to get people to find out where you are and what you do is through social media, right? So
yeah, absolutely. On top of the $15 a day you were spending on ads, what were you paying her just to manage them?
All in with the ad spend, it cost me $2,000 a month, and she's doing, X amount of social media work, just making my page better and running all my social media posts and keeping the calendar.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do here again, you all, is go back, try to backtrack here a little bit and get a little more clarity on the current agency that he's working with. So being able to find out again, what is the marketing spend that you're investing in, and what are the numbers showing? Is it a positive return, which we've already declared it's not?
The calendar and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. So there's how many posts is she doing each week, would you say?
I couldn't quote it exactly. It's so many of these and so many of these and so many of these, it's pretty consistently, I don't know, 3 or 4 reels a week. And, it's quite a few. It's quite a few.
Okay. And then you mentioned you're still running that high ticket offer right now for $5.99. Was that it?
No. So actually we just canceled the high ticket offer, and we were going to try to go with.
Okay. So now I'm trying to get clear on what was the offer that they were trying to market, right? Try to see if there's any room to dig in there.
Something with value. So I just dropped a $99 6-week, right? And so I will, full disclosure, this is why I decided to do this, right? I know that that's normally a sign that there's death approaching, right? Like you never, you know what I mean? Like I've heard all of that stuff, but what I did is on the 8-week programs that I used to run, like I would sit with people, I would do a one-on-one interview. I would build a custom nutrition plan with the person, talk to them, go through every single meal, every single, everything every day, like spend a lot of time with them. The 6-week program is come in, sign up, do a body composition scan. And then I literally, and this is me telling you my trade secret, you literally plug in who they are into ChatGPT, and it spits me out a 7-day meal plan with a grocery list. And that's what they get. You know what I mean? It's such a simple, it takes me 30 minutes to get them signed up and weighed in. It takes me another 2 minutes to use AI to generate a meal plan for them. And so so it might sound like a really low, but as far as the time invested in it,
I can see the
Yeah. Don't think you using AI to do this is like cutting corners. In fact, most businesses and even employees as a whole, if they're not using AI as a tool to make them more efficient, they're behind the eight ball now.
Right.
I mean, I have a cousin who's he's a neurosurgeon. Is AI. Look up like what the most recent procedure, like protocols are for specific clients. So it's something that everyone uses. And again, it's strength that if you're not using it, you're now weaker than you were before.
Right.
Which is why right now we've really started to implement. So we own 127 locations throughout the United States as a company. They range anywhere from Anytime Fitnesses, the base camps, the Orange Theories, to In Motion Wellness, stretch clubs, which are the one-on-one assisted stretching. But everything we've developed is we guinea pig or test it at our locations first. That way we can roll it out to our clients. So what gives us a little bit of an edge too, I'm not too familiar with if they actually own and operate gyms themselves.
He started out as just a simple gym owner, and he does have quite a few locations.
So again, trying to build out some authority and really try to find out if the other agencies he had worked with, were they experts in the field? Were they actually gym owners themselves? If they're not, then that's a good value add. If they are, then okay, well, they only had a handful. We have over 100 plus.
Out there in the Midwest somewhere. But again, like, I don't, like I said, I don't know. That's always been the challenging thought, you know what I mean? It's like, what works in Kentucky, who's to say that works in, like, they're two completely different places, you know what I mean? They have different demographics, they have different social populations, they have different income ranges, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. So I get, like, there's the claims that you could say, oh, this works in, well, yeah, okay, that's a whole nother ball game, you know what I mean? But I get what you're saying is you're gathering all the data from 127 different places, and there's probably some,
Yes, sir. And they're also different modalities, right? Where like a base camp is a lot different to an Anytime Fitness than an In Motion stretch club. It's similar to Orange Theory as well, but we do, I think we have like 35 locations throughout.
Okay.
So again, each market is different, and I'll go into what we do with that to get involved with the market, but we are a full service deal. So I'm going to be talking to you about a few things and asking you some questions that I don't believe these other agencies have talked to you about. And one of the first ones is going to be your Google review process. Do you currently have a
All right. So again, you all, this is where I messed up. What I should have done is gotten more clarity on exactly what his numbers are looking like for the marketing. So he only mentioned the last 30 days generated about 32 leads. Ideally, you need to go back the month after that, then the month after that, and then say, okay, what about this time last year? And then dive back into the marketing agencies. What were you doing differently at this point versus this point? Okay, what was the nurturing like? Were you and the team getting to the leads fast enough? Or do you think it could have been a communication error? You already mentioned you're doing great at sales, but how's your team? Are you the only one closing sales, or are they? Those are very important things that I did not dig into on this call. And my assumption is that because he had given me all that information, I did the one thing all salespeople should not do, and that is assume. He mentioned multiple times how he had a great team. His numbers just aren't where he wants. He's not getting enough volume. He knows that marketing is the issue. And that's basically, I let him kind of control the narrative there, instead of me just trying to filter back down and funnel underneath exactly what those numbers really look like. So now instead of chunking down the numbers specifically like this, instead, I'm now building the doubt, which is what I'm going into. How do you get reviews?
a process in place to generate Google reviews from your active clients?
No.
Why is that?
It's never been brought up.
Okay, so this is my biggest pet peeve when I speak with gym owners like yourselves that have worked with a number of agencies.
Great point. So this is a new shiny object. Out of all the other agencies he's spoken to, we have something in our offer that I'm going to pitch him that is unique and different from the other agencies, immediately leveraging us as a premium or a more expert in the field.
Why they don't talk to you all about Google reviews? It's like the what's that heart attack? The Widowmaker heart attack?
Yeah.
Comes out. Yeah, it's like that. If you don't have your Google reviews in check to where you're getting frequent reviews, you're missing out on opportunities. Okay, tremendously. So if we go ahead and pull up, let's see, where'd you go? This is your location right here, correct?
Sorry.
If you flip your phone sideways, it should get a little bit bigger for you.
Yep, that's me.
Okay, so you've been at this location for how long?
Since 2020.
And you've got 17 reviews. How does that make you feel?
I guess I don't have a feeling about it.
Okay, well, let's put yourself in the shoes of the consumer.
Okay.
You mentioned you've got some of these other floods that are popping up around you, right? If, let's say you come over to Kentucky, you married, well, you married by
Yeah, I am married. But so that was the thing I left out of that story. Is like when I started, there was 5 gyms. You know, 1,000 people. Now there's probably 25. You know what I mean? So the competition has definitely increased when it comes to stretch labs, you know, other kinds of gyms, yoga studios, boxing gyms, Pilates, yoga, you know what I mean? Like literally we were one of the first to really do it, like the group stuff here. So competition has increased too. So I mean, we're definitely sharing the same population, you know, similar population with, you know, different things, right? So it's hard to be unique and all that kind of stuff. When
right, which again is why I'm going to make a big point on this, because the other agencies dropped the ball and they did not educate you on this, because this impacts everything else that you do in terms of marketing. Okay, so let's put you and your wife in the shoes of a consumer.
Guys are definitely more logical when you talk to them about reviews, if that's something you guys are offering. Most guys don't ever check the reviews. Females, almost all of them do. So trying to get the guys on board with this, you got to try and figure out how to pivot, get them to connect so that they end up verbalizing that they see the value.
Let's say you all come out to Kentucky. You guys are hungry. You just went on a bourbon tour. Now you got to get some food in there. You're probably, or your wife is probably typing in best local restaurants near me.
Yep.
If you pull up a restaurant and you're looking at the reviews, the last one was 6 months ago, but the restaurant next door has a bunch of reviews from last week, a month ago, or whatnot. What are you going to pick?
well, you're definitely going to take a look at the first one first, you know, that's for sure. And we do that. We do a lot of traveling. So yeah, I get where you're going with that.
Yeah, and so being a service-based business, somebody who's established that has been there for long, the fact that you don't have, it's not the number, this is where agencies mess up, and owners do as well. It's not the number of reviews or the average star rating that's important. In terms of Google's SEO algorithm, to be listed at number 1, which helps with your Google awareness and your organic searches, is the frequency in which you get reviews.
Oh.
Okay, so based on that conversation we just had, let's go ahead and take a look here at the competition. You've got 34. Which one would you say is your biggest competitor? Here, let's take a look at their reviews. You know, they've got one 3 weeks ago, a month ago. You know, so this looks to the consumer a little bit more like an active place to be. You know, and having those frequent reviews, what it's going to do is it's going to give proof of concept of your gym. So if people see the ad and then go look up your address, they're going to see some of these recent reviews and they might even connect with one. Hey, quadruple plus establishment. Okay, that's a good sign. Gym's amazing. The coaches are knowledgeable. All right, I want to go to a place where they actually know what they're doing. I want to make sure I'm in good hands. Right. So if you don't have your Google reviews in check, it's going to impact your paid ads that you're currently running.
Okay.
70 to 80% of consumers make their purchasing decision based off of Google reviews alone. And that is a proven set that is pulled from Google. So it's not Yelp. It's not Club. It's not Mind Body reviews. It's not ClassPass reviews. Those certainly help. The majority of your foundation is going to fall on these Google reviews. Okay. So missed opportunity right there, my friend, that you haven't had a system. Everyone else, you know, they organically ask members to leave reviews. They put a QR code up. Those are great, but it's not a systematic approach to generating reviews.
Okay.
All right. Any questions on that or any clarification?
So is this where we pop up when someone Googles fitness near me? Or we blow? Is that
since I'm in Kentucky, I couldn't give you an exact answer. You would have to type in, you know, like gyms near me. But, you know, the last one you had was about 2 months ago.
Okay.
And then looking through these as well, is there a reason you're not replying or responding to the reviews?
Okay, so all these questions I'm asking are trying to add a little bit more pressure to, oh, I noticed you're not doing that. Why aren't you doing that? Oh, okay. Well, do you see how this can impact the business? Yeah. Oh, okay. So continuing to build up that pressure.
My earbuds died.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
Yeah, so my other question for you was, is there a reason you're not responding to the reviews?
Hold on. Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Sorry, I'm botching up here. There you go.
You're good. Can you hear me okay?
Now I can. Go ahead. Sorry, I missed it. You said one more. You're asking my question. So.
Yeah, so another thing that, you know, owners tend to let fall through the cracks is the responses to reviews. So is there a reason you haven't replied to these reviews?
Never even knew they happened. That's why.
Okay. So again, when we're talking about like the SEO algorithm in terms of your organic listings, the business, that is a very important factor. If you do not reply to the reviews, good or bad, you're going to get docked points. Okay. So our team ran what is called a local Falcon report. And you might, if you flip the screen over to the sideways again, this is to your question. If people type in best group fitness near me, this is where you're currently listed. So right over the gym, you're on listing number 4. If we go a little bit north to Youngstown, you're on listing number 6, listing number 10, listing number 11, 13, and so on. So all of these areas that you might be pulling from that your other competition is at, you're not even showing up on 1, 2, or 3.
Gotcha.
And that is.
This is a very helpful resource, you all, to give a visual aid on where they're ranking organically for search traffic, depending on their niche. A lot of the times back when I think this was like 8 months ago, like I said, we used local Falcon. There is a new platform we use called Search Atlas. uh, a lot more visually appealing. It's really got some nice features too, where you can actually see a competitor analysis and where their competition ranks compared to them, just to again build that pressure of, hey, you got a problem that you weren't aware of going on. How are you going to fix it? So a very helpful resource tool to use.
Tremendously impacted by not having a Google review system.
Okay.
Okay. And again, this is one of those things. If you think of the food pyramid, it's at the top of the food pyramid. If you don't have your Google system in check, it will impact every other marketing you're doing because you don't have that proof of concept and active clients leaving testimonies about your business.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. With that being said, do you have a process to generate referrals from people that might leave you a review?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a process at all to generate referrals?
No, not a process. No, all we ever say, we run those, in-house, you refer somebody, get half off your next month, kind of old school, what used to work kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Okay. So old school guerrilla marketing on those side, but we're in the modern era. It's time to maybe change and enhance it. Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we will. And then going back into the ads, I did just want to pull up your all's ad library. So you mentioned that with these other companies you worked with, it looked good on paper in terms of the total number of leads that they got you, but you had a hard time getting them on the phone. You had a hard time getting them to even convert, and the quality was very low, right?
Right. Yeah. So like we talk numbers like, like cost per lead, right? So they would talk about, we get you down to that, we want to get $9 or less cost per lead, but who cares? Paying $9 per lead. If the lead's shit, that's $9 for nothing. You know what I mean? Like nothing.
Yeah.
So
based on your experience with those leads, I'm willing to bet the agencies you worked with utilize the lead form. Are you familiar with that term?
Yep.
Okay. So lead form is not the move to go. And the reason for that is because it doesn't take a lot of effort to submit your information. Meaning if you're on Facebook, you see the ad, you click the sign up button, all of your information is pre-filled, and that's it. Now you did mention that you added in those qualifying questions. That's great, but still not new. And so we never recommend using a lead form because of that reason. We always use a optimized landing page that is branded with your brand. And it takes a little bit more an effort for people to submit their information because they have to physically type it in.
Well, so we did make that adjustment on this set of ads, like the one you're looking at right now. Because of the way Meta and these days, now she just got off the phone a little while ago, and so she's got a thing on there where it goes right to the landing page on the website, like this strictly for signing up. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So it looks like after they go through the lead form, the next step, if they click onto it, will take them over here.
So that's the sign up now. Book a call one. Yeah, there's supposed to be another set of ads that drives people right to the website.
So it does not look like they are.
Yeah, maybe they're not running quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like she started these yesterday on April 9th.
Yeah. Yes.
So again, and then the other thing too is it looks like she's doing men versus women, which is great. But right now you only have 2 ad campaigns going, and as a marketer, be able to get a good feeling on what's working and what's not. You should be testing and testing and testing.
No, there's.
So I bounced around here a little bit. I was talking about the reactivations, and then I went back to the ads because I probably saw the ad library pulled up. But again, what I'm trying to pinpoint is what the current agency is doing and what we would do differently, and seeing if he sees the value.
There's 3 static photos they're supposed to be running as well.
So these,
What she sent over me to approve.
these are the only images right here.
So you can see.
Yeah, and these just look like different placements. Might be placed on newsfeed, on the story, but yeah, right now it just looks like I've got the one image with the guy and the gal.
Okay.
So again, I'll break down what we would do differently here and how in depth we go. But right now, I wouldn't be too happy with this, just based on what I'm currently seeing. All right.
Okay.
And then when it comes to the nurturing of the leads, is she doing anything to help nurture these leads that are coming in, or is that all on you?
That's all of me.
Okay. And how test? Yeah, you're breaking up on me a little bit right now. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Are you good now?
Yeah, you're just a little choppy on me.
Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm back. So
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I lost you a little bit on the nurturing. So leads come in, they go to your email.
So I did bring it back. Again, what I'm doing now is going back to the discovery and trying to find out what happens with those nurturing leads. So I did bring it back.
the AI driven funnel, that it would pop people into, and it would try to nurture the lead a little bit with, ask some questions. What are your weight loss goals? All those kinds of things. And we struggled a little bit back and forth with that, as far as sometimes it was a little overbearing. I think sometimes people responded back with stop texting me, like it was too much. So we always try to figure out what the right amount of annoyance was without overdoing it.
Sure.
You know,
Did you feel like that was more successful when that was implemented versus now?
it's kind of hard to say. And that was when actually like the way I felt about it is all I ever wanted to do was get on a phone call with somebody. Rarely did people fall into that funnel, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, let's sign me up now. Like after 2 weeks, or after whatever time period where the funnel, the workflow was going. I don't know that we got a whole lot out of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
It did something. I know that, but I never really felt like if you're interested in making a transformation or joining a gym, like you pick up the phone, you call somebody, you talk to somebody, you respond to a text message, quickly. But after that first 72-hour cool off period, none of that workflow stuff ever really worked. I would like to have a few follow-up workflows with it for sure. So that so it just doesn't go. Maybe they had a busy day and they couldn't get to the phone call. It does remind them, but and then those companies would say, if I couldn't get to the call within 15 minutes, like if a lead would come in and they would, you couldn't get to it within the first half hour, like that lead's already cold, right? Like you need to jump on people right when it comes in. And I'm like, yeah, ideally, I get that, right? Like, I'm running a class or I'm working with somebody, or I even went to the point where I hired a gal to do nothing but sales, and her sole purpose was to follow leads. And it didn't prove to be any better. Like truthfully.
Yeah, like you said, it's kind of like finding that Goldilocks porridge on what system would work the best. I know just from managing my own team before, human error definitely plays a part, especially if that person doesn't particularly have thick skin when it comes to making the calls or doing sales. But to clarify too, with those other agencies you worked with, were they all workwflows or were they actually AI? Was it a workflow automation?
It was a workflow, and then actually just started getting into the AI, and where it was kind of cool because it sounded like a person. You know what I mean? It sounded like it was having. I would look back, after being busy for a few hours, I'd look back past the conversation, and I was like, this person they don't even know it, but they're talking to a robot. You know what I mean? They're talking to you know what I mean? Like a real conversation, telling them their life story and shit like that. So I've seen it work. I've seen what it does.
Okay, so you do see the value there, especially if you end up being a little bit more busy, and it can pick up some of the slack or potentially missed opportunities, right?
Correct.
Okay, and then just to confirm as well, anything with Google reviews for you?
No, nothing
At all. Okay.
Never done anything with Google reviews.
And then when you were running the challenge as well, you mentioned that you were the one that was solely taking those first initial appointments, and then they would go off to the class schedules. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, is that something you're still wanting to focus on? That way you have more control over the sales side?
Well, I mean, for now, until ultimately, just like all these things are promised, the goal is to work out of this business. You know what I mean? To get, I don't mind doing it, and I can do it, and I think I do it proficiently when given the opportunity. But that's not the goal. I would love to have a salesperson, if not a couple.
So again, this guy has tried numerous things. He's tried even getting a full-time office receptionist or a staff member to handle all of these. He just mentioned one of his biggest goals is to eventually, work on the business and not so much in the business, and that'll be something to bring back at a later time during this call.
You know what I mean? I would love to not have to run classes at some point. I had it going pretty good for a while. I was down to 2 classes a week, and I could be an owner. You know what I mean? And I could and shake hands and kiss babies and be motivational and all that kind of stuff. And that's the goal. You know what I mean? I have a head trainer. Like I said, I have a staff of 4 trainers. You know what I mean? The goal is to run the business, not to work in the business, obviously.
Right. Absolutely.
But that takes us getting to, back up to that, 300 plus members. That's where I can start removing myself effectively, and obviously continue the lifestyle that I like to live,
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to the ad spend that they recommended for you, blanket start, or did they say, hey, we got to test out a few things, see what we would recommend, or was it?
I think we started at $30 a day. And then at one point, I think I had been spending, I don't know, I was dropping at least $1,000 a month in ad spend.
Okay. Were they ever like some of their solutions? Hey, spend more money. Yep. Was that something?
Totally.
That's another pet peeve I have.
You want to reach more people? We got to spend more money.
Yeah. So this is another pet peeve of mine, because as a marketer, our job is not to spend more money, but to speak more to the audiences and change what we have control over to give you a better cost per lead. Right. It's not throw more money at it. So again, I'll just state that another pet peeve. Database right now. What system or CRM are you all using currently? One. Yeah. And then how many contacts do you have with active clients?
About 3,500.
Okay. And
I just continue since I started. I just continue I just move lists from platform to platform. So I've kept my original email list from 12 years ago.
Does that also include phone numbers as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you doing anything right now to try and remarket to those?
No, we haven't done anything to remarket since we've been out since I think we did something back in like November-ish time.
Oh man, so it's primed. It's ready to pass.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see.
So this again, you all, is why it's so important to have a general script or a process, because every sales call is going to be different. And as long as you have that process ingrained, you might not go through it step by step, but in your mind, you'll always know, okay, I might have missed something. We need to bring it back here and get these questions answered.
You know what I mean? Like with this $99 special, lots of value, low offer. I mean, what's it take to send out an email or a text?
Yeah. Well, and the past times that you've done a remarketing campaign looked like, was it an email blast, a text blast?
We've done both, and I, in all honesty, not what I had hoped. You know what I mean? Like you think if you, I don't know what. I remember they threw out some metrics and stuff like that, but you think if you emailed 3,000 people, you should get 5 to 10 members. You know what I mean? And I didn't.
Well, it goes back to the current strategy you're doing, right? Email is not what it once was.
Nope, definitely.
Phone calls are not even what they once were.
No.
People get so many calls now that they don't want to answer. And so having a more effective modern day strategy is what you need to do to get ahead of the competition or get better results than what you were saying right there. So email, it doesn't surprise me that you had a bad experience there. No, I mean, really, because at that point, like if you send out that email, it's up to you to respond to whoever replies to the email, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So potential for improvement there. And then when it comes to you all with what you're doing right now, in terms of implementing new systems, would you say that you and the team are pretty committed and willing or coachable to adapting to new systems?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, my wife, it's my big, she's my tech support team. She wants to punch me in the face every time I switch marketing companies because it requires a lot of her tech support. But she gets it. She gets it.
And then with the new special that you're running right now, is that something you're really wanting to focus in on with the current marketing team that you have, or are you open to potentially going back to more of the higher ticket type of transformation offer?
I'm not married to anything except results. You know what I mean? When the high ticket came around, we obviously saw a boost in monthly revenue because, you're collecting more up front. And so, you're funding through those high ticket sales, your marketing. You're not playing the long game. You know what I mean? You're front loading everything instead of trying to get members in at a low ticket and hoping they stay for 2 to 3 years before you get paid back. You're hedging your bets up front. You know what I mean? And I get the concept of the high ticket thing. The only thing that we, and I don't know, I'm probably part of the problem with the pandemonium around, the tariffs and all the other shit that's going on. You know what I mean? I'm all for them. You know what I mean? I voted, 100% in that direction. And I know that the reasoning behind it, but I'm also a realist, and I know that the media outlets that are out there are freaking people out. For right or for wrong, that's what's going on, and people are seemingly, that one of the top 10 things that people cut back on when we use words like recession and that bullshit is gym memberships, or at least boutique type gym memberships, right?
Lifestyle services, really,
right? And so, because of all this bogus media attention that we're hearing, that's what I feel like. I would say that I am just as much of an economist owning a gym as anybody that's got in the stock market, because I'm one of the first people. This business is one of the first people to feel it. And so, so I just thought this time, pay attention. If you can't get high ticket sales right now because of the idea that it's spending a lot of money, maybe you do pull that off the table for a little while, work on some volume in the intermediary, and then as things get better, then you can always go back to it, right? So that's my whole thought process behind that now. And I know if I talk to 10 different gym gurus, they would say don't. But I don't know. I was just again trying something different.
Yeah, it's where you're at. Yeah, you're pivoting and you're adapting to the current situation you're in. But from what I hear, it sounds like the stock market went back up the other day.
It did. I know. But we're still here. You know what I mean? It's still like this.
He's going at it,
falling. You know what I mean? Like
he's going at it like a bulldog in a china shop, isn't he?
He sure is. You know what I mean? But my personal opinion, rightfully so. You know what I mean? We're never going to get better if we don't fix the things that are broken. Shut me. And you could easily relate that to weight loss. Or for gyms or fitness. You know what I mean? If you can't fix your diet, what's the point of continuing?
Just like they say, stay away from politics. If somebody brings it up like this gentleman did, you can give a green comment or something to give them a response and then try to segue the conversation to continue.
You need to go to the gym. You know what I mean? Like you have to fix the things that are broken in order to move forward. Right. It requires a complete reshift of how we think about things.
Right. And point what you just said, that broken piece in your business right now is definitely your Google reviews. I mean, I do not doubt that the reason you had some of your experience with the paid ads is because you haven't had your Google reviews in check. Yeah. That's because, again, let's say, somebody sees the ad on Facebook.
Because the reviews was a newer service or a newer idea that he hadn't thought about, I'm doubling down on this because it sets us apart from those other agencies, and also continuing to instill the importance of generating reviews to help with the paid advertisements as well.
Facebook, they submit their information. Maybe they look you up on your website. If you had a bunch of frequent reviews from yesterday or last week or the week before, it's going to give a green flag in their mind, like, okay, yeah, I made a good decision here. I'm going to come in. Right? It helps further solidify what they signed up for. And so that is definitely a missing link in your machine right now.
Yeah.
But I would say, with us, we definitely excel with our marketing strategy when it comes to running transformation type offers and challenges to get those high ticket people in. How do you feel your sales process was after they came in for that challenge? Did you feel like you lost a lot of people on the back end trying to get them to convert, or
nope? No. So like I did a crazy thing for Black Friday this last year. I did a 8-week, paid up front challenge. And I said, you can get the rest of the year for free and your payment isn't due until January 1st. Right. So they basically got almost, they got an extra month basically. And then they're $500. They could pay it up front, when they signed up, or they could pay it in January for $100. We got $200 off. It was a $699. That's what it was. It was $699. If you paid it up front in November, we gave you the rest of the year for free, and your 8-week challenge didn't start till January 1st. If you waited till January 1st, then it was $599. Right? Still gave them $100 off, but because I wanted to not, money's tight through the holidays, right? Or whatever. We gave them till to the end and whatever. So, but I converted like 70% of those. You know what I mean? We had quite a big. I think I sold 22 of those things on Black Friday. Just that week. And so 70% of those converted at $156 every 4 weeks. Like I saw that big time in March. My March revenue got a big boost from all those people rolling over. January was a big boost. February was down. March came back up because of that. All those people converting over. So you
see the value. It's just right now you kind of picking up on what people are saying with where you're at.
Well, I just haven't been getting any. I put the ads out. I think our ad before this last one was $200 off your 8-week transformation. I got buckets, no responses. No, hardly anybody was interested. And then the people that I did talk to, I tell them about it, and I go, custom nutrition plan. They go, I think I'll just, I got people to join the gym on a regular membership. They're like, yeah, my nutrition's okay. Bullshit. But they didn't want to spend the money. You know what I mean? Like that's really what I took it as. It's like, I want to join a gym, but I can't afford. I'll just work on, I'll follow Instagram gurus and work on my nutrition that way.
Right.
It is what it is. Right. So again, like I just kind of started noticing that trend in, last year, $499, 8-week transformation with a custom nutrition, weekly accountability, weekly body composition scans, all that stuff. No problem. Didn't seem like an issue,
Right.
Towards this year.
Yes. To your point too, you also mentioned, I believe it was really change anything. They weren't changing the offer. They weren't trying to change up their copy. They weren't trying to speak differently to the audience, right? There's such thing as attitude, which again is why I was telling you, having 2 campaigns running is not enough. You have to be constantly testing things. And that's why, to your point, marketing, you have a good handle on it, but you don't have the time. It is a full-time job to be effective at your marketing.
Right.
A lot of these agencies do that plug and play where they start it and then they don't look at it for a week until they hear from you saying, hey, what the hell's going on with my leads?
Well, kind of interesting. That was what I talked about with my gal this morning. I said, okay, this is what we're doing. She's like, yeah, we'll give it a week and we'll review it.
Yeah. No, not the best way.
Okay.
Not the best way. And then right now, where do you foresee the gym 6 months? Where would you like to see it at?
I mean, there's the 300 members is the goal. It has been, it's written on, like, I can stay here and stare at it in my office on my whiteboard. You know what I mean? Like it says the road to 300. And we've got all sorts of things written down underneath it. You know what I mean? Like, weekly tasks for retention, check on missing members, check on members on hold, overdue accounts, monthly thank you cards, like all of those things. Like, yes, you know what I mean? Those are cool, but I feel like I know the real answer, and it's not that. It's
pretty soon. You'll be able to put gym members now up there, and then we'll get you to that 300.
Yeah, right.
Well, with what you guys are currently doing, I mean, it sounds like you've been trying to get to 300 since after COVID. So realistically, possible with what you all are currently doing right now to get there in that 3 to 6 month timeline.
Well, it's not proving to be that way, and it really makes me, it makes me doubt that it's possible at all. Like I said, I've been through a few of these calls like this. I've been through a few different things, and it's starting to make me doubt. Is the community oversaturated? You know what I mean? Like all of those things, it makes me start to doubt, which makes me fall less in love with what I do. Right? Like, and that's the unfortunate part about it. It's such a, can't watch, like it was so, when it was good, it was so good. It was so good. Right. And that's really what I'm chasing more than the revenue and more than the number. It's that feeling of having a packed house all day, every day, when you run, like when you run special events and things like that. Like I used to do stuff like charity events all the time, fucking 150, 200 people showing up for charity events. When I do my toy drive, I would have fountains of toys underneath the Christmas tree. We would do water drives for the home, water bottle drives for the homeless and things like just massive people just participating. That's what I'm searching more than anything. It's that feeling that goes along with having a packed gym.
You want to be the community pillar, really, where you're the happening place to be. You've got 100%.
100%.
The only thing I'm going to say again, you've been established there and you've got one of the fewest reviewed businesses, and that is impacting your business. And again, I'm not going to say I'm sorry to the other agencies, but because it's benefiting me, but this is something that you need to have in check. And again, it's the trickle down effect, right? It impacts everything else that you're doing, and you will see a substantial increase just once you get that system in place. All right. So personally for you, then it sounds like the goal is once, it's not the money, it's not the numbers. You're really wanting to have that passion that drove you to open the business.
So again, with this, this was he was very active in giving me the information I need. And a lot of the times that's not the case, which is why I've got it structured out like this with these other follow-up questions like, well, why that number specifically? He really got into more of the emotional side of him wanting to fall back in love with the passion and seeing a packed gym, seeing everyone coming in and participating and engaging with the facility. That's really what he's trying to get back to. So right now you can see that I'm trying to recap everything he said to let him know that I did hear what he had to share with me and to make sure that I heard it correctly.
Be that community pillar where people feel like you're the place to be, right? Yeah. Is there anything else we didn't talk on that would be important for me to better understand the situation? Or
No, as far as like where I'm coming from, I think we painted a pretty good picture. I think, the next thing, and I think I think I've got a good idea. Well, tell me more about exactly what you guys do all in.
Yeah. So at the heart of, I do believe we'd be a good fit for you. You shared, again, you work with a few marketing agencies, but you also have a few missing links in your whole system that are giving you missed opportunities. And so what we're going to do in our area of expertise, as I told you before, is we've developed all of these systems at the 127 locations that we own, and we can battle test them to make sure that they're actually working, right? In different markets, different areas, different modalities and whatnot. And I do want to preface that everything I'm going to share with you is definitely based off of what you've shared with me, based on where you're currently at, and ultimately that road to 300 where you want to be. And what it's going to come down to is really 6 main things. The very first thing is the Google reviews that we spoke on. So right now you don't really have a process. No one's really educated you on the importance of it. And that importance being, again, you're listed right now basically invisible. So you're not listed in the number 1, 2, or 3 mark. You're on the number 4 and below. That's an issue because people can't find you. You have to have that proof of concept of community and everything you're looking for based off of your current clients that are leaving reviews. Where we come in is that we've developed this AI system that's hands-free from you and the team that runs in the background on a monthly basis that's working for you. So the way it works with us is that each of our clubs and our clients run a quarterly raffle. That raffle is a chance for one of your clients to win a month of classes for free. That first initial message that's going to go out, we'll reach out to the client saying, hey, know that we very much value your experience. How has it been so far, 1 through 5? Anyone that responds back to the AI with a 5, the AI immediately sends them a link that redirects them to your Google My Business page where they can click on the stars and type a nice review. On top of that, our system, as I mentioned before.
So as you guys see me going through step number 3, which is the pitch or the solution, you're going to see a lot of what he had shared with me. I'm taking in and tying back into what the problem was that he shared, and then what service of ours or what step we're on right now that is the solution.
Before, we'll automatically reply to every single review that is left. That way you don't let any replies fall through the cracks. And again, what this is doing for you is not only giving you more reviews on your page, but it's getting you bumped up organically to that number 1 spot.
Okay.
All right. We take it a step further to get your brand out there even more. For every review that we generate from your clients, we will automatically post that to your Facebook business page as well as your Instagram business page. The reason being, you can never be on too many platforms. We talked about this earlier, right? Facebook, Instagram, whatever it might be, you've got to be on as many platforms as possible. By us posting those to your social accounts, once you start running ads, again, if somebody sees the ad and they go to your business page, now they can see what you all are doing in the gym, but they can also see any of those recent reviews, again, solidifying their choice in selecting you all for the gym. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. On top of that, every single person that leaves a review, our AI will respond back to them via text message saying, hey, kind words. By the way, if you have any friends or family that might like to try a class for free, go ahead and text them this link. And for every person that signs up under your name, we're going to go ahead and put your name in that raffle again. And so we make it very easy right after they leave a review and they're happy with you to copy and paste a link to their network of friends and family. At which point, if somebody clicks on that link, they can say who referred them, their contact information, and then you would be notified via email, hey, Mackie just referred Tom, here's their contact information.
Yeah.
So you can see that our system here is very methodical and goes beyond simply soliciting people to leave a review. We want to be very strategic in that we're not only getting them to leave reviews, we're not only responding to them, we're not posting them to your social media accounts for the ad campaigns, but we're also asking them for referrals.
Okay.
The other added value here is that now that your team knows every single person and anybody new that comes into the gym will go through this system, they better be doing a great job in class and keeping the gym clean. Because if they don't, let's say somebody responds to that first message with 1, 2, 3, or 4, the AI will not direct them to Google. Instead, the AI goes, about your experience, how can we turn that 2 into a 5? And it opens up the door for them to give you some feedback, at which point you can go and address that client, potentially saving the membership and retaining them, or talking to a trainer if a trainer gets mentioned. Okay. Any clarification on that process specifically?
Nope.
Okay. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's something that could have some value. Definitely.
Yep. So after I go through every step, you're going to hear me say, what questions you have on that specifically. And what I'm trying to do is tie down the fact that they understand exactly what I shared with them and that they don't have any further questions. If you ever sense any hesitancy or they're not exactly sure that they understand, you want to make sure that you reiterate or re-explain in a different way what you're trying to convey to them.
Missed opportunity, right? Okay. Well, the second thing is going to come down to a proven remarketing campaign. Other than doing email blast or a text blast here and there, you have a primed database that is ready to be harassed, so to speak. The way that it works with us is that our system is completely AI powered. So back in 2019, Harvard Business did a study that showed across 16,000 businesses, if a business does not respond to a consumer within 5 minutes, the chances of the business getting a hold of them drops by 400%. The power of our remarketing campaign is that it is not a workflow. It is fully powered by OpenAI, meaning when we send out that first blast message, whenever that lead responds, the AI is going to be there to pick up the conversation within 5 minutes, get them speaking while they're ready to talk, find out what their goals are, and ultimately schedule them to meet with you for that consultation.
Okay.
And it's proven extremely effective. One of our clients, you probably seen a dashboard very similar to this. We use a white label version of Go High Level. We've been with them for a number of years.
Yeah, I used Go High Level when I was.
Yeah. So this is a client where we haven't even run paid ads for them yet. This has been solely from their database. It's scheduled 79 all through the AI. They have not marked 44 of them, so I couldn't tell you what these are doing right now. 17 canceled, 11 were no shows. Out of the 24 that did show, they were able to close high ticket sales and collect almost $3,000 up front.
What was the period of time that happened in?
This has been going on from March. This was what happened in March, and then this is currently in April. So we're still going through their database as we speak right now.
Yeah, see, that looks very familiar to me. Back to the, you know what I mean? Those kind of like kind of numbers. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot. And then we started with talking about how do you improve show rate, right?
Yeah. So not from paid ads.
Oh, this is
just from their database. So if we were running paid ads, the leads would populate here.
Gotcha.
This is just from their inactive database.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
The method we usually.
Okay, so there for a minute, he didn't really understand what I was trying to say. He thought that these were from ad leads, not from the client's actual database.
Like to go about this. We need to do a database reactivation with our AI, generate some revenue from the warm leads you currently have, and then we'll take that money and invest it into paid ads. But we primarily, again, it's an untapped database you have. So that's $3,000 they just collected. Any ad dollars.
Right. And their high ticket doesn't seem very high ticket. They sold 7.
Yeah, $400 to $500 a pop.
Okay.
Yeah. Any clarification there?
Nope.
Okay, so when we get into the paid ads, then this is where we really excel. So we've been doing this for 8 years, primarily with gyms and fitness studios. Our strategy is what we call the decagon matrix. It's very different from what your current marketer is doing, and also very different from what you expressed your frustration with them on how it's very generic.
Again, you all, I'm going back to what was said earlier in the conversation and trying to tag it back in with an emotional and logical point, and then establish what we do differently to really put us on a pedestal as the experts.
Almost the exact same copy from when you switch from a little bit of tailoring with the current person you're with. The decagon matrix strategy simply means that at any given time, we segment the campaigns not only from men and women, but men and women in 5 different age groups, being men and women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s and above. The reason we do that is because each of those age groups and demographics are totally different from one another. Meaning we don't want the 50-year-old women seeing 20-year-old women in the ad images.
Right.
We make sure that the 50-year-old women see 50-year-old women.
Right.
50-year-old men see 50-year-old men. Why do we do that? Because it resonates. They connect to that a lot more. They see that people their age group are still working out there. It's a place that they could be at.
Right.
If you're not doing that, your ad results are not going to be nearly what they could be.
Okay.
The same goes for the ad copy. The ad copy can be much more tailored to people in their 20s who are looking to get jacked versus a man in their 50s that might want more of that maintenance protocol where they're really working on refining their body in a sense where they're not putting on a lot of muscle to prevent them from getting injuries.
Right.
They're the mothers who just had their baby. They're trying to lose baby fat.
Right.
These are all different things that you can be more strategic on, which your other companies were not doing, that we do very successfully.
So I'm going to speak on that real quick, and this is a frustration of mine lately, is that we've been kind of labeled as a more mature gym, and I am getting a lot of older people, and I don't mind that, of course, right? But it feels like we've completely abandoned the search for the younger people, the in-betweens, right?
Well, yeah, and now they're running, if you had access to the ad accounts, she's probably running a blanket ad campaign.
It's general.
And so this is where you get screwed up. If you don't know how to manipulate Facebook's algorithm, you could run an ad like that, and guess what? The algorithm's swaying into the 40 and 50-year-olds more. It's going to push your money there.
Yeah.
With our system, since we have them blocked out, we're able to accurately see the data, and that data is, no matter what Facebook's algorithm is catering to, we're still able to send money to those other age groups and also speak to them more directly.
Sure.
Right. And so that's why to your point again, Facebook marketing is a full-time job because Facebook is forever changing. The algorithm's changing. You have to know how to manipulate it in your favor. And that's where we come in as the experts for Gen specifically. The other added value here is our team is checking the ads 3 times a day. They're not only looking at the data, but they're constantly swapping things out, whether it's the headlines, is it the copy, is it the description, is it the image or the videos? And it's not for all across the board, right? If a 40-year-old campaign has a better headline that's working for them versus the 20-year-olds, we want to make sure that it's constantly optimized for those specific age groups, as I mentioned. They're not paying attention to the data. They're also paying attention to your availability, Joel. So our job as your team, from the time someone sees the ad to the time that they come into the gym, it has to happen within 72 hours. The reason being, if we are running ads for you, but you're booked out for the rest of the week and don't have time until next Tuesday, we turn the ads off because it doesn't make sense to keep spending your ad dollars if people can't actually come in within that period of time. The likelihood of them coming in will drop off significantly. Okay. Any clarification on the ad side there?
Do you guys provide all the copy and stuff, but you guys create the copy?
Yeah, we do everything, the creation, the management, the optimization of the ads. We'll give you the examples before they go live in case there's anything that you'd like to adjust. And then we also give you examples has worked really well in terms of images and videos. And then we will ask for you to recreate those at your gym because they always work better. And then if the best clients of ours are the ones that recreate those images with women and men in those age groups.
Gotcha.
Because the other added value here is if you're using images from your studio, there's a damn good chance that lead might be in class with somebody they saw in the ad, and then you have the opportunity for that person to sell them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, like we have a ton of small business owners that work out here, right? And so, and then we have done that before. Used, like one of my gals is a big restaurant owner in a couple of the local cities around here. And when her ads go, when she's on there, everybody knows who she is, right? That's like everybody knows it, and now they know why.
Yeah, so we usually the onboarding takes anywhere from a week or two just because we have to collect some of this information to give you the best service. Yeah. But once it gets going, I mean, the results are almost instant, and you see a difference for sure. And that's because, again, we take it to a whole nother level when it comes to the strategy that we implement. And a lot of these other agencies, for whatever reason, they don't take the time to do that. And that's laziness, really. At the end of the day, there's no other term there. The next step on this, so again, the first things for you, get your Google reviews in check, give you that automated system that's going to get you boosted organically, give you that system that's also going to tap the referrals, but also making sure that any of that content is running before we run paid ads because it will help the paid ads. The second thing would be getting the remarketing campaign going initially. So let's see what we can do with your database of about 3,500, give you some revenue without spending money on ads. Once we get that revenue coming in, then we can take a look at, all right, let's invest this money into ads. The way we work with ads is that we do not tell you how much to spend because every market is different. What we do differently than other agencies is what's called a 7-day market test. That's where we take $500, run it over the course of 7 days. We might not spend it, all of it in those 7 days, but what we're trying to find is, one, how does your market respond to our ad campaigns? And then what is the daily spend we have to do to book your calendar out for that week? Once we got that data, that's when we come back to you and say, hey, recommend option A or option B in terms of your monthly ad spend. The results you're looking for, which one sounds better?
Okay. Sound good?
Okay. The last thing is that we are a consulting company. For this to work, it has to be mutually beneficial, meaning it goes both ways, right? We have to make sure that you've got X, Y, and Z in check. That way, what we're doing works for you. And so we do partner you up with an account manager of ours. They're both business coaches. They've been in the fitness industry for 10 plus years, multi-club owners themselves. They know what works, and they're there to help you and inspect anything that you all are currently doing. Just they can give a fresh perspective on how to enhance anything and all related to the business. Okay. More importantly, as we go through our systems, their job is to be there as a communication point for you, meaning if you need to call us, you can. You've got somebody that you have a dedicated person you can speak with. And then also making sure that if you've got any staff on, that you want to have go through maybe our sales process, they would be able to walk them through the 9-step front-end sales portion. But more importantly, what does the back-end sales process look like to get those people off the Year of Change program? Okay. Any clarification there?
What's meetings with those coaches? Or is it a scheduled meeting? Is it as needed?
It's one-on-one. So at first, it's going to be pretty in-depth just to make sure that we've got connected to all your systems. You're on the same page with what we're doing for you and that everything is working. And then it can go on a case-by-case. Okay. It's tailored pending each client.
Okay.
If one client needs a lot of help, then they're going to spend more time with them. If you're pretty much all systems good, then to make sure that you have an open line of communication, to make sure that everything that's running is running accordingly. Okay. Yeah, so they're absolutely not mandatory, but the first week or two, they are because we want to make sure we're all in alignment with each other before we get anything going. That way it's congruent, right?
Yeah, no, I was only like the other companies, like, I had a standing Wednesday 1 o'clock call with, so we would go, he would pull up the spreadsheets and, this ad's doing this ad's doing this. He would go over the numbers, when we would look, he would show us where we were failing or where we're not doing good. And we would then he would kind of try to coach us through, okay, well, our show rate is down. Okay, what are we doing? Why aren't these people showing? Are we making all that stuff? So that was kind of how the calls went with that company. Just kind of trying to see if it's the same concept or.
Just for us to give you a better service. Yeah. I mean, we're going to be going over, okay, you had this many leads, this many showed. What happened with some of these sales? Yeah. Did you guys hit any object? I mean, there will be a little bit of that too. Okay. Again, once you go through the onboarding, that's really where you break down, how can we consult or help you? Okay. But to your point, you had mentioned some of the companies, you tried to call them, you couldn't get in touch with them. We're very proactive. The downturn in the ad campaigns, you will hear from us. You won't be reaching out to us.
Okay.
Right. So we're very proactive in what we're doing because we've been in that situation where we were more of a vendor where we were just sending leads and people weren't closing. It was never good for either party. And so the reason we're so hands-on now, we're getting in the trenches with you because it has to be mutually beneficial. If it's not working for you, it's not working for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Well, just in terms of the process, everything I laid out.
So honestly, feeling kind of crappy because what I got is not what I feel a little like. Damn, like I knew better. Like I feel like I knew better. You know what I mean? When I hired this last gal, and like I said, she's a really nice gal. You know what I mean? I think she's doing a really good job with the social media. But when it comes down to this, like I initially recognized that she's not versed. She's not speaking the same language that you and I are speaking about this stuff. Like I'm comprehending at least 60-70% of what you're talking about, and you're an expert. And she does. I just don't feel like we're on the same level. She's not even at 60% of what I'm talking about. And I guess not that she like sold me on it, or anything like that, but I just don't feel like I'm in a good position with it right now. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I have till the end of May. You know what I mean? I just made my second payment to her. I owe her one more, and so like I don't know what to do in the interim. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know what you guys cost yet. I like the language you're speaking. Like really, what I want to do on these calls, I want to sit across from somebody, and like you were just kind of saying, like I know you guys want everybody to be successful. Like where's the proven plan? Where's the plan? Where's the company that's out there that says we are going to make you find that again? We're going to get you there. Like that's what was. They really sold me on that, and they're running a numbers game just like anybody. I want everybody that comes in here to be successful, but I realize not all of them are, right? And that's in any business. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm just trying to search my own database and say, what do we got to do here? I know this is a piece of that puzzle. I know that I work really hard on the other piece of the puzzle. What do we got to do to make this thing click together?
Yeah. Bring it back straight to the Google reviews, man. Your business is being severely impacted because you do not have a process you've got 200 something members, buddy, and 17 reviews. You've been there for 10 something years. It looks even worse if you get the little Google thing that says in business for 10 plus years and you've got 17 reviews, So that again is not to say that it's impacted you tremendously, but you will notice a difference. We have a client. Are you familiar with Workout Anytime?
No.
So they're probably like if Anytime Fitness had a baby, they're like the in-between child.
Okay.
They're bigger than Anytime Fitness, but not as big as.
Okay.
We have several of them as clients, and for the first time since they've been in business in plus years, they finally rank higher than Planet Fitness. And that's because of our Google review system.
Okay.
And again, it's not the number of it, and this is what we had to educate them on. They go, you have 150 reviews, 4.8 stars. That looks good on paper, but in the back end on Google's algorithm, it's the frequency. Are you getting 1 to 5 reviews a month?
Gotcha.
Because if you are, you're a happening place to be. Google's going to give you priority because more people are referencing you.
Gotcha. So that's the goal. One, we're supposed to be 1 to 5 a month. That's the goal.
I would say that's a good average, yeah.
Okay.
Because that's roughly 1 a week, right? And so if you're able to get that consistent, and again, it's an ongoing system, right? So hypothetically, you're bringing in 30, 40 leads a month, maybe 10, 15 new signups. That's great. We've got 10 to 15 new people at the end of the month that go through the system. And we even do people that don't sell. It does for you as a business. Yeah, they're going through this system, but they might give you some feedback as to why they didn't continue.
Gotcha.
Right? And so again, we give you a lot of these other services that you don't currently have and that these other agencies aren't doing, which shame on them, but good for us. Right?
Yeah. All right. So what is your guys' offer?
So in this section, I did the temperature check, just curious, but in terms of the process, how do you feel? He gave a very, I would say, certain answer. He was upset with himself for signing up with another agency where he's in the market to get more leads, and he's doing whatever he can, and he's willing to do whatever he can. He just needs the system that works. And so we're going to now go into the full-on pitch where we go through the next steps.
Offer to get started with you guys.
Yeah. So the way my next question for you, would you say that you've got anywhere from like 20 to 30 open spots a week to take on new clients?
Well, yeah, 100%.
Okay. Well, the way it works with long-term agreement, there's no long-term commitment with us. It is month to month. If you need to cancel, we just ask that you give us a 30-day heads up. That way we can try to give you the best results. You're not locked into a 6-12-month agreement.
Okay.
Again, for you, the first thing we would get started is right away the Google reviews, because you've got an untapped current database of active members that are ready to get going. The second thing that we would want to get launched is your database of 3,500 with a remarketing campaign for a transformation type offer. So it will be a higher ticket.
Okay.
If we run that for, let's say, a couple weeks and you're not feeling it, we can have that conversation and see about going to your $99 6-week deal.
Yeah.
Okay. The way that we get paid is on a per show basis. So our pay per show is $99 per show that somebody actually walks through your door. All of that is based off of our.
I royally botched the pitch on this one, gentlemen and ladies. what I should have done is saying, all right, client, now the initial investment to take you from where you're at currently, which has been stagnant for a number of years, trying different marketing agencies and not getting an ROI or any results, is because you've been missing on X, Y, and Z. We're coming in and doing X, Y, Z to help you get to 300 plus members and also to that passion that you want to feel again, which is a packed full gym, really having everyone engage and being a part of the community. This is what we're going to do. And the investment is $99 per showed appointment. Our AI systems get to show at your door. That would have been a little bit more powerful than how I
AI that is going to be nurturing these leads from the remarketing campaign to get them to schedule and show. And then when we run paid ads for you, it's the same thing. If you're not there to handle the conversations, the AI will pick up the slack, get them to schedule and get them to come in, and also remind them to walk through your doors. So there's no startup fee, there's no build fee. It's $99 per person that walks through your doors from our systems, and then the ad spend, of course.
Okay. So on an account like this, what is your goal? What is your core goal on shows? Like all the work that you guys are putting in, like, I mean, just to understand it, like how many shows are you trying? What's your goal to get a gym to show rate?
We want it to be, it's usually hovering anywhere from like 38 to 45% of leads that are generated that show.
And how many leads are we hoping to generate?
That falls down on, for me to give you an honest answer, do the market test. And that's me being transparent with you and not giving you any bullshit.
Yeah.
Every market's different.
Well, I'm just trying to understand it from your side of things. Like, you guys are putting in a lot of work on this at $99 per show. You know what I mean? Like, like I said, in the past, my most successful months, we've hit 20, 25, right? So $2,500 a month for like that I could see working, but I don't think it could work for you at 10. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it puts pressure on us to be able to perform.
Definitely.
That's why we do it.
Okay.
Right. I mean, we've been in that situation. It's not fun for either party when,
right.
We're charging people, hey, well, these leads aren't coming. Well, it's not fun. So that's why we are sticking by our guns with, some clients, they get a lot of shows. What we find with the data is as long as you're closing at like a 28 to 30% closing percentage, you're going to make your money on the front end, but more importantly, you're going to get that reoccurring on the back end as well.
Yeah. Well, I close way better than 30%. So
yeah. Well, as long as the reason we push the high ticket is all for the more the high ticket, because it doesn't make sense for membership gyms to pay $99 per show if their membership's $30 a month, right?
Well, yeah. So that was the other thing about going to that $99 is my membership is $156 every 4 weeks. So we're going lower than membership, and so then you get those people, and then they see the monthly, and they go, "That's too much." That's why I got to wait. $99. I haven't done a $99 special in, since I don't shit. It's been years.
You said death is approaching. The down. So I would say don't. With this how you're with, you can keep doing that. But with us, we know what we're doing. We're very good at getting people in that are looking for a transformation of some sort.
Right.
Again, it goes back to our strategy. The copy for a transformation challenge for a 40-year-old female will be very different from a 20-year-old female.
And again, I'm confident on my side of things. Like when people do our transformation programs, like it works. Like I've got all sorts of transformations. You know what I mean? There was like 20 of them on our quarter one, thing this year. You know what I mean? 20 people, 25, 20 or more pounds. You know what I mean? Like what I do works. Like I'm confident in that part of it. You know what I mean? If you follow the program, you will get the results. You know what I mean? So I don't mind. I don't mind charging for it. There's the value is there. Right. Would you pay me $500 if I could tell you I can help you lose 20 pounds? Most people are going to be like, yeah,
let's do it. Tell me what I need to do.
You know what I mean? Other than being some Ozempic.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I were your shoes, you're definitely not going to want to keep this current lady that you're working with. You've got a large enough database that what we would be able to do for you is at least start working with us. We'll get your Google reviews and referrals in check, which will help what this lady is doing for you.
Okay.
We'll go through that remarketing database that you have for the next month and a half.
Okay.
How long it takes us to, because we don't fire all 3,500 out, right? We each do anywhere from 25 to 50 a day, just so we blow you out of water. And then let's try and get you some revenue coming in on top of what you're paying with this lady. And then by the time you finish that contract, that's when we'll be getting to the point of, okay, your revenue from us and put it towards the paid ads, and let's make the transition as smooth as possible.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. So, damn, I'm sorry to keep you on this call for so long.
Conversation, man.
No, it really has been. And I'm ready to do that. Can we, I do have to get going here. I got someone coming in a couple minutes. What's the next step? Real quick.
Yeah. So we'll schedule another call. I'll send over the agreement. We do ask with this paper show that we at least put the market best ad spend down.
Yeah.
So just to hold, so that's the $500 we'll collect. Yeah. And then we'll schedule your onboarding. At that point, you'll receive a few welcome emails from us. One of those emails will be a business assessment form. Please do complete that before your onboarding call. That way the coach can go through it and be on the same page. Once you go on the onboarding, the whole purpose of that is going to be getting connected to Google, getting connected to your Facebook account, getting your list that we need for the Google reviews and the reactivation, making sure we're on the same page with the promotion for the reactivation, and then scheduling your start date. So your first 30 days with us does not actually begin until you meet with the coach, get on the same page, and schedule your start date for the campaign. That's when the first 30 days will begin.
All right, so let's get that other call scheduled, and we'll move from there.
Yep.
Sorry to take up your time again, but it has all. Appreciate it.
Great, sir.
I always appreciate.
All right, so in this situation, you all, it was a 2-call close. I did end up getting on the phone with him the next day where we were able to go through the agreement together. We were able to process his deposit and then get him scheduled for his onboarding call. The really cool thing that I mentioned at the beginning of this video you're watching is that he's been with us and has been a client now for 8+ months. We've not only gotten him to surpass the 300 members, he's consistently generating anywhere from 60 to 65,000 a month in reoccurring revenue, and he's in the market right now for finding his second location. Throughout this journey of his, I mean, we've gotten countless emails, text messages, even other Zoom calls we've hopped on where he's said multiple times that we've given him that passion that he fell in love and the reason for why he opened them. And so this is really the business that we're in, is helping solve real life problems with the use of AI or marketing, and then also our consulting to give these clients the service they need to turn things around for them. Now, if you guys are just getting started in your AI agency journey, or if you've got an agency that you're feeling stuck at or trying to get above on, feel free to click on the link below, book a call with me and my team. We'll be able to sit down with you, really diagnose what's going on with your agency, or if you're wanting to start one, and really help you get the roadmap to success and start you on there. I hope you learned something from this video. Drop something in the comments if you'd like to see some other ones. I will be posting more as time goes on here, just recapping what I did well, what I can improve on. This is one of the best teaching tools here, is reviewing your sales calls and hearing yourself go through it so you can continue to improve. So see you guys on the next video.